Severe weather with heavy rainfall, followed by a summertime cool down across the eastern United States, and the Atlantic hurricane season is finally ramping up towards the end of August. Those are your top weather stories today, guys. Welcome back to another weather forecast. Guys, if you guys have not hit the subscribe button, hit it down below. It's free to do. And guys, we have some great weather content here coming up this week. Looking here right now, we got some heat advisories across portions of Oklahoma, down into the deep south here, across portions of southern Arkansas, East Texas, northern Louisiana, and much of Mississippi there as well. These are heat advisories for, heat indices that will be well over 100 as we head into this afternoon. More widespread are the heat advisories and even the excessive heat warnings from the Pacific Northwest southward towards central California, where we'll be sweating it out across these areas with multiple areas reaching the 100-degree mark or higher as we head through the next few days. So let's take a look at here, zooming out what we can expect over the next few days here throughout the week. You see this afternoon, we have that ridge starting to continue to back to the west across the western United States. Meanwhile, we have that trough that we've been talking about as well. That will be digging down even further into the mid-Atlantic and the Tennessee Valley as we head here into this afternoon, bringing the cooler weather, bringing less humidity to the environment as well. So that will be very important. And that will really continue as we head into the, the middle and end of this week. That trough will actually back its way to the west, and we'll see more areas across the central and southern plains, and even the deep south start to cool off as we head towards late this week, while that ridge really starts to build and amplify across the western United States along and west of the Rocky Mountains. So that is something we'll watch. Looking at this with your temperatures here this afternoon, we can see high temperatures across much of Oklahoma, Texas here, getting into southwestern Arkansas, down into Louisiana. Some of these areas will be in the upper 90s, and a lot of these areas will be around 100 degrees from Oklahoma City, Tulsa, down south here toward the Red River, down towards the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, even towards Tyler, Texas. A lot of these areas here will be in the lower 100s this afternoon. But look at what awaits us here across the Midwest here, the Great Lakes and New England is a lot of cooler weather, a lot of lower humidity. The Chicago lakefront will be near 80 degrees today. Des Moines, you guys will be here into the mid 70s, and even the Twin Cities here in the mid 70s as we head into this afternoon as well. But look at as that ridge pushes off to the west, we'll see a lot of hotter temperatures with multiple areas in the 90s, if not 100s, across the western United States, down through California, down through portions of Phoenix, and getting into Death Valley there here as we head into this afternoon. That really continues as we head into Wednesday. We'll start to kind of shift the heat a little farther south towards the Red River here. Probably not quite getting to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex yet on Wednesday, but I definitely think by Thursday we'll really cool things off in a big way through North Texas, through Central Texas, all the way down to the Gulf Coast here. A lot of, lower 80s, even some middle and upper 80s still out there, but a lot less humidity, and that will definitely make the air feel a lot more, tolerable out there. While we do have some heat building across the western United States, look it up here into Washington State, into portions of Idaho, western Montana, temperatures will be in the middle to upper 90s. We got widespread 100s across portions there of northern and central California, even some lower 100s down towards portions of southern California and southwestern Arizona as well. But look at, guys, across portions here of interior New England up through western Maine, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, some areas may struggle to reach 60 degrees as we head into Thursday, August 18th. So definitely a big, strong move of cold air that will start to drop south here with this trough as we head toward late this week. Also with that transition, before we start to see some of that cooler weather take place across these areas, we'll start to see that transition zone, and that will bring a complex of showers and storms across the Kansas City metro area, down through the Missouri Ozarks as we head through the day today. We got some heavier rainfall expected across much of Missouri, northeastern portions of Kansas, and perhaps all the way up into southern Iowa as we kind of move through the morning hours. Even some heavy rainfall here lingering across West Texas that could drop some flash flooding rains here in some isolated instances as we head into this afternoon. And that will continue again in West Texas here late this afternoon. Again, across the Missouri Ozarks, pretty wet go of it across areas, along and west of St. Louis, Springfield, Missouri, Jefferson City. These areas will be very wet as we head into your afternoon here today, probably a day to stay indoors, and that will continue even into the evening hours. We'll start to shift this rain a little farther to the south across the northern Arkansas, portions there of northern Oklahoma, and even some rainfall across portions of West Texas all the way up here toward the Texas Panhandle and northeastern New Mexico, southeastern Colorado. That will continue as we head into the overnight hours into your Wednesday morning. And here's your precipitation amounts expected across these areas here the next 24 hours across the Missouri Valley, southern Iowa, eastern portions there of Nebraska, Nebraska, a lot of areas, widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain here, as you can see on the legend down below. A lot of widespread heavy rainfall in much needed areas. Some of these areas have been in the drought, so definitely continuing to see some beneficial rains where the rainfall is needed. Also some pretty heavy rainfall where the rainfall is needed as well across western Texas, northern Mexico there. Widespread rainfall amounts between 2 and 4 inches of rain. The higher amounts may stay just south of the border here into northern Mexico, but still across western Texas, definitely could be expecting here some pretty heavy rainfall near the Fort Stockton area. If you live there, yeah, you could be seeing some isolated instances of some flash flooding in the next 24 hours. And you can see that here with the Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall outlook. They do have a slight risk for excessive rainfall and flash flooding, scattered flash flooding possible across the Jefferson City area, getting down towards the Springfield, Missouri area, and perhaps just to the west of Cape Girardeau. This is across south central Missouri, even across some of these areas with the monsoonal rainfall. Widespread slight risk here for excessive rainfall, and even down towards Fort Stockton, where we have that threat for some heavy rainfall lingering through the day today, that will have a marginal risk for excessive rainfall down there. And even as we go through this time frame as well into your afternoon hours, we'll still have a couple of areas that we'll have to watch for some severe weather. We got a marginal risk across northwestern Minnesota, eastern North Dakota. We got a smaller marginal risk across northeastern New Mexico, southeastern Colorado, and into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles here as well as another area of a marginal risk here, more concentrated across the Little Rock area, getting down toward Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, and on up into southwestern portions there of Missouri. We'll have to watch for a couple of stronger storms. The hazards today, some damaging winds that could be 50 to 60 miles per hour here with some of the strongest storms, maybe some quarter-size hail with some of these storms in those areas, again across the mid-south, the southwestern United States, and the northern plains and upper Midwest. We'll continue to watch that here for the quarter-size hail and that 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gust threat. The tornado threat is less than 2%. Not too worried about a tornado here today, but if you do have one, it'll be very brief and very, very isolated. So again, we're not too worried about the tornado threat here today. But as we move into your Wednesday, we got that stationary boundary, that slow-moving cold front dropping south here through the Red River into north central Texas, across the Gulf Coast, bringing that concentration of showers and storms down south. We'll have even a little bit of a disturbance across the northern plains that could bring some scattered showers there as well, but the concentration will be a lot more higher coverage of showers and storms across the Gulf Coast into North Texas as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. You can see that here Wednesday morning, we got the ongoing complex of showers and storms across southern Missouri, northern and northeastern Arkansas, getting over toward the Memphis area, and perhaps northern Mississippi as we head towards Wednesday morning. The afternoon time frame, we could be seeing some scattered showers and storms firing up around the Tuscaloosa area, Birmingham, getting down towards portions of Mobile, Alabama, and then westward across the Texas Panhandle, across most of Oklahoma there as well, with some isolated to scattered showers and storms. Even some rainfall across New England as well, especially into Maine, getting down through Vermont, New Hampshire, some heavier rainfall there as well, with some storms that could pop up here, from time to time. And as we even move into Thursday, again, much of the same here with that stationary boundary across portions of the Gulf Coast into central Texas. A lot of these areas will see, repeated rounds of scattered showers and storms. And again, it is much needed rainfall, so we'll kind of, we'll take it across these areas, so to speak, as we kind of move through the week. And again, as we move into your Wednesday, we got a marginal risk for some severe weather across portions of northeast Texas, southern Arkansas, Louisiana, much of Mississippi, Alabama, northern Florida, and southern Georgia as we move into your Wednesday afternoon. Mainly just, again, for 50 to 60 mile per hour winds and some quarter-size hail. The tornado risk is going to remain low on Wednesday. And even as we go into Thursday, right now the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have any outlooked areas for severe weather, but I do think there's still a possibility here in the coming days they could highlight the Gulf Coast again for maybe a marginal risk for some severe weather here, depending on the timing of that front. If it starts to move off into the Gulf of Mexico, we'll probably put an end to the severe weather threat as we get towards late week. But looking here through the next 72 hours, this is the precipitation of what you can expect out there. Pretty heavy precipitation from the middle Missouri Valley down through the lower Missouri Valley, much of the deep south here in southeastern United States. A lot of these areas from, the Carolinas westward through Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and getting up into Missouri, a lot of these areas will be averaging 1 to 3 inches of rain through the next 72 hours through your Thursday evening. Even some pretty heavy rainfall across West Texas and getting up into, the Colorado Rockies and northeastern portions of New Mexico as well, with some widespread rainfall amounts of 1 to perhaps 3 inches of rain there as well. It looks like the heaviest rain will stay into northwestern Mexico, and some of these areas into northwestern Mexico as well could be approaching reaching 4 or 5 inches. So definitely a lot of moisture, trailing up from the western Mexico coast all the way into the southwestern United States, bringing that monsoonal rainfall there in a big way. But as we get toward late week, your Friday, August 19th, we'll start to break this ridge down just ever so slightly, even across the western United States. We'll still have a trough across the Great Lakes and, the upper Midwest, bringing that cooler weather all the way down south towards the Red River and into North Texas, all the way down into the Gulf Coast states here as well. That will continue as we head into the weekend. The ridge might start to re-amplify a little bit as we get towards late in the weekend. And again, we still have that broad trough still lingering across the Great Lakes and New England as we move into your Sunday, August 21st. And looking a little bit longer range here as we move in towards that Sunday time frame and going beyond here towards the last leg here of August, the Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day temperature outlook does favor above normal temperatures, certainly likely across portions of the Pacific Northwest and the western United States, across much of the Four Corners, eastward toward Texas, eastward towards portions of the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the Deep South. A lot of below normal temperatures can be possible, if not likely, across these areas through that August 21st through the 25th time frame. But as that ridge starts to kind of break down across the New England region, we could still see here kind of some above normal temperatures favored there during that time frame. Looking at the precipitation amounts here and the precipitation anomalies during that August 21st through the 25th time frame, you can expect some likely above normal precipitation for much of the Colorado Rockies, the Intermountain West, all the way down through New Mexico here and through much of Texas and the Ohio Valley, getting into the Tennessee Valley, and even up into New England as well as we head during that time frame. But again, as that ridge starts to break down over top of this trough with time, as we get towards that last week in August, we'll see below normal precipitation favored across Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the Dakotas, and then maybe getting down into central Iowa there as well as we get into that time frame. And again, even as we go a little bit farther out, the last couple days, all the way through the 29th here of August here, we're going to be expecting, still that pattern to hold true across these areas, with below normal temperatures across those same areas and above normal temperatures across the Pacific Northwest and Western United States, with, again, New England still remaining slightly above normal there as well as Florida and much of the East Coast as we get towards that August 23rd through the 29th time frame. Even during that period as well, we're going to have that active southern jet stream across portions of the southern United States, getting up here into maybe the East Coast. Again, the northern United States is going to have that active storm track shifted south. So again, you're going to expect some below normal precipitation across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and the western Great Lakes during that August 23rd through the 29th time frame. Looking at the monsoonal season just a little bit here, going all the way from now through Thursday, August 25th in the afternoon hours, this is what you guys can expect across Texas here into southeastern portions of Oklahoma. Widespread rainfall amounts here of 2 to 5, 6 inches of rain or more possible across the Red River here. But to the west, where we see the monsoonal rainfall, we're going to see our fair share of some rainfall as well, with some widespread rainfall amounts of 1 to 3+ inches here across much of the Four Corners region and northward towards Wyoming, western portions there of Montana, and even portions there of especially of eastern Idaho as we move into that time frame towards late August. And that is some good news, considering the drought monitor that did come out last Thursday is still holding that severe, extreme, and even exceptional drought across most of these areas. There has been some, significant improvements across Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado, and even Wyoming here in the last, few weeks, with that monsoonal moisture here trailing up in some of these areas, while other areas have been proved a little bit more unlucky across, Utah, Nevada, and California. They have had some moisture, but not enough here to, overcome that drought, and hopefully we can see more rainfall there. And again, some good news for Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, as well as, eastern New Mexico, with the, exceptional drought and extreme drought here in the red shaded colors, definitely expanding, and definitely would be, seeing all that heavy rainfall out there towards late August is some really good news out there for you guys in Texas and Oklahoma as well. Looking at your tropics, we got, tropical depression Yvette here in the eastern Pacific Basin. That's going to really be a nuisance, guys. This is pretty much over the open waters, not really, looking at this too far. This is really just going to become, a tropical depression and stay a tropical depression here all the way through the late week time frame and kind of remain here at a post-tropical cyclone, if you will, as we get towards the late week time frame. But the National Hurricane Center has highlighted this area across the western Gulf or the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, just to the east of the Mexican coast here, near the Bay of Campeche here. We're definitely watching the potential of some pretty strong signs of some tropical moisture, maybe a 10 to 20% chance of development. This could become our next tropical depression. We'll have to wait and see. Again, if this does occur, this will push up towards South Texas. So again, bringing potentially some more heavy rainfall there in some of those much needed areas as well, potentially as we get towards late August. You can't really see it too much here on the visible satellite, but you can see some convection starting to fire up across eastern Mexico, getting down to the Central Americas. That is part of the system that will bring all the moisture northward here across the western Gulf, the Bay of Campeche here, and into portions, maybe into South Texas as we get through the next week or two. So we'll continue to monitor that and, get you the latest information on that as we get a little bit farther out. But looking really mainly at the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Atlantic Ocean basin here at the moment. Pretty quiet. We have these brown shaded areas. That is, drier than normal conditions as we go all the way through August 22nd. But as we go through the last couple of days of the month here, from the 22nd through the 29th, there are anomalies continuing to show up, and this has been consistent in the last few runs of the CFS. This is the Climate Forecasting Systems model, and you can definitely see some blues showing up here as well as those deeper greens. You can definitely see that the precipitation is going to become a lot more abundant as we get towards late August, and that is with some open waves that will come off the African coast here and move westward towards the southern Atlantic basin, maybe as far west as the Lesser Antilles. So we'll continue to watch that, guys, as we get towards late August. A lot of time between now and then to kind of figure things out, but definitely watching this as well. The GFS ensemble, the GEFS is actually showing still that signal there for maybe some tropical development, potentially in the southern Atlantic basin towards that last week or so here in August. And that is also, indicated as well on the GEPS, another ensemble here as well, a little more vaguely, but still there across the southern Atlantic basin. So we'll continue to watch that as we get farther away here. So looking at the Atlantic hurricane season and tropical storm season across the Atlantic in general, we're really starting to hit our stride here just a little bit. We're really going to start to peak here in the next couple of weeks here, getting into September. Really about, mid to late September is when we really peak across this time frame. So again, we're closing in on the active time frame here for the Atlantic hurricane season. So again, if this does become an active season, we'll definitely keep tracking it. I'll go live for hurricanes and tropical storms and stuff like that. If it does make landfall here on the U.S. or close to the U.S., we'll be live for that. Even looking at the Eastern Pacific Basin, again, we're still active. We're near the top end of this here, the active season, getting towards this early September timeframe, and then we start to kind of wane in intensity as we get towards the October and November timeframe, especially across the Eastern Pacific Basin. So pretty active there as well, and we'll continue to watch it for you guys. Again, thank you guys for watching the video. Remember to like it here down below by giving it a thumbs up here, leaving the comments, questions, and concerns down below as well. I'll be able to get to those later on today. And guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Thank you guys for all of you guys for subscribing to the YouTube channel, helping to grow the page. Definitely much appreciated. Our goal still is 1,000 subscribers. So again, it's free to do, guys. Get your family, get your friends, get anybody you know, and subscribe down below. Definitely much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching the video. Have a great Tuesday out there, and I'll see you in the next video.